One day in a small town, a local philosophy professor noted for his innovative teaching methods paid a special visit to a primary school. On the day of his visit, he entered a classroom with an exciting glitter in his eyes and a huge empty glass jar tucked under his arm. This immediately drew the kids' attention with an air of humorous intrigue. It was evident that this wasn't going to be your typical school day. He set it on the table in front of everyone, and then he pulled out a pile of huge stones, each approximately the size of a fist. He carefully placed these stones into the jar one by one until he couldn't accommodate any more. He turned to face the students and inquired, "Is this jar full?" Seeing that there were no more stones that could fit, to their amazement, the pupils nodded and said yes. The lecturer then took out a bag of pebbles and began putting them into the jar while gently stirring it. Pebbles that were considerably smaller than the stones rolled into the gaps between the stones. He questioned the students again, "Is this jar full now?" Some kids began to realize his argument and hesitated, but many responded again, "Yes, now it's full." The lecturer then grabbed a bag of sand and began pouring it into the jar. The small grains filled all of the remaining interstitial spaces between the stones and pebbles. For the third time, he inquired, "Is the jar full now?" The pupils realized what was going on and said, "Probably not." Finally, the professor took out a jug of water and poured it into the jar, soaking the sand. Only then did he admit that the jar was actually full. He turned to his students and said, "I want you to understand that this jar represents your life. The main things are the stones, your family, health, and friends. Your life would still be fulfilled if all else was lost and only them remained. The pebbles represent the other important things in your life, your work, your home, and your automobile. The sand depicts the insignificant, the inconsequential." He went on, "If you put the sand or pebbles in first, there will be no place for the stones. The same is true in life. If you spend all of your time and energy on the minor details, everyday chores, and monotonous jobs, you'll never have time for the things that actually count. The stones reflect the things that are essential to your true essence and happiness. They represent spending quality time with your loved ones, taking care of your health, and pursuing your aspirations and hobbies. If you don't prioritize these, you may realize that you've missed out on the most essential aspects of your life," he ended forcefully. "Make sure to place the stones first. They are your pillars, your basis. They are your family, your health, and your dreams. Don't let the pebbles or sand, secondary duties, routine, or trivialities gain precedence over them at the conclusion of your trip. The stones will weigh the heaviest in your jar of life, establishing its value and significance." As the lecturer finished his remarks, a concerned student raised her hand and questioned, "But professor, what about the water? What role does it play in our lives?" The lecturer answered to her smart query with a smile, The water. The water represents the fact that no matter how busy your life appears to be, there is always place for a cup of coffee or tea with a friend. There is always time for tiny moments of delight, relaxation, and connection with people, no matter how busy you are. We frequently find ourselves juggling responsibilities in our life, attempting to squeeze everything into the short hours of the day. We might become so engrossed in the minutiae of daily life that we lose sight of what actually important. This jar of our lives does not have endless room if we choose to fill it first with sand and stones, the commonplace and the periphery. We make no place for the stones, the things of true worth and significance. So I implore you to prioritize your stones, your family, your health, your interests, and your aspirations. These are the things of your life that will leave you fulfilled and content even if everything else is removed. Take good care of these valuable stones. To begin, make time for those you love and care about. Nurture your physical and mental well-being. Follow your interests courageously and, above all, create time for learning, development, and compassion. And the water represents the unexpected, the unplanned, coffee with a friend, spontaneous laughing, and shared moments of delight. Even when life appears to be overflowing, there is always place for these. There is always space to connect, relax, and simply be the stones in the sand. They'll fit around the essential stuff. They're the chores and obligations that are required, but shouldn't take up all of your time or energy, and they shouldn't crowd out the area reserved for your stones. And the water symbolizes the unplanned, coffee with a friend, spontaneous laughing, and shared moments of joy. Even when life appears to be overflowing with these things, there is